Today, we're in the middle of what I would call an awkward stage for the future of EVs. I, and many others, would argue that their proliferation is inevitable at this point. The only question would be how long until we can consider them mainstream. Right now, we are in the middle of the early adopter phase, and with the current political and economic climate becoming a large speed bump in the adoption rate, I'd like to look back at the strategy manufacturers took to get here and what I think they should have done instead. For years, I've been hearing a similar sentiment from people online about the types of vehicles automakers should target.
A lot of people buy sedans, and sports cars, and minivans, and all sorts of other types of vehicles, but the most popular, best-selling vehicle in the US for the last 40 years straight is the Ford F-150. I didn't say the most popular truck, I said the most popular vehicle in this entire country is a Ford truck. So a new electric version of this flagship, it's a big deal.
This truck needs to work for America, and I'm not going to take the time and explain what F-150 is and what it means to our country and what it means to, honestly, our entire culture here in America. You guys already know that.
So I'd like to weigh in really quickly. First, I'll jump on Kyle with this. No R1S first. We need electric pickup trucks. Okay, I'm just going to beat down Kyle right there. We need electric pickup trucks, okay? Of course, we need the R1S also, but pickup truck. So,
Many people seem to think that since trucks are so popular in America, that it just makes sense to target that demographic. Plus, with their fuel economy, the gap in fueling cost is much higher than, say, a Prius or a Civic. I've always completely disagreed with this approach. EVs are already a tough sell for so many people. We as fans already know all about the benefits and even the drawbacks, but we shouldn't ignore the fact that many people might just not care enough to learn at this point. And with that in mind, think about the mindset of a typical truck buyer. We already know that almost nobody uses their truck to do actual truck things. They just want a truck just to have one. Say what you want, but sometimes it's just that simple. To them, gas or diesel can even be part of the reason why they like it. They actively want the V8 or the turbo diesel. They think it's cool. Now, I don't want to make too many assumptions about people, but who do you think would be more likely to be interested in an EV? A Ram diesel power wagon owner or a Prius owner? Obviously, it's the Prius owner. Now, I do think things can get a little too political, and I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and in my anecdotal evidence, the people I meet that drive full-size trucks simply do not care about EVs in the slightest. And in many cases, their reason isn't that deep. It's just that it's not a concern for them. No political reason, just disinterest. Now, could that be fixed? Absolutely. But then I'd ask, why are automakers trying to make these truck owners part of the early adopters? Surely it would be much easier to get all the people who are begging for EVs, but don't feel served at the moment, or the ones who would be open to it and just are waiting until it's right for them. Let's look at some of the numbers now. In 2024, 18% of all new vehicles sold were trucks, and that's with trucks being 5.25% of all available models. So yes, trucks are extremely popular. In 2025, EV trucks were only 7% of all EVs sold, when they were 9.5% of vehicles offered. And that's even being generous. If you remove many of the EVs I counted, some because they were discontinued or truly weren't on sale, like the Chevy Bolt or the Mini Cooper, and some because they are luxury vehicles that are not really attainable for the mass market, then you are looking at trucks being 14% of your options for an EV. And many of us know that a bunch of the options left are not the most competitive products, like the BZ4X, the Charger EV, or the original Leaf. This brings me to today. We just got some more information about Ford's new truck, and I felt like it was time to have a discussion about this. I wonder if these brands are looking at Rivian as a template for their future, starting with a truck and all, but I would argue that even Rivian has realized that trucks are not the best product at this moment. Yet, here we are with new brands like Slate, Tello, and even Ford, when they're almost treating this new EV platform like its own little startup and focusing on a truck. Sure, they are smaller trucks, but they're still trucks. I think that Rivian being successful while starting with a truck is definitely an exception, not the rule. Their brand image and focus on an upscale outdoor adventure market is not easy to hit, and they did. Yet even Rivian, possibly the best example possible, sells 3 times as many R1Ss than they do R1Ts. For as divisive as Tesla is today, I honestly think every manufacturer should be trying as hard as they can to copy what they did, just with their own little flair to it. I mean, come on, look at the popularity of the Model 3 and the Y. Even with all the problems people have with the company, people are still buying them. I wish that Ford would backburner the truck and focus on a mid-size or full-size SUV first, and save the truck for later. I wish that Slate and Tella would do the same, and Slate even kind of is, because they're going to let you convert it into an SUV, sort of. Instead, these companies seem to be doing it backwards, and I fear that aiming for this smaller market in the EV world is slowing our progress down. The people who drive RAV4s, CRVs, Tucsons should be every automaker's target, not the F-150 or Tacoma drivers. Right now, people just don't have enough compelling options at a reasonable price to justify the switch, or they simply are waiting for charging to build up more. But if the time comes and all they have to choose from are a bunch of trucks and a fraction of the options that they would have if they were looking at a gas vehicle, they're just gonna stick with what they already know works.